Hello everyone and welcome to MediSimplified. So today, again, the 10-day, 10 p.m. at YouTube, 10 important topics. Today we're going to talk about more on the respiratory pathologies. We're going to talk more about the respiratory pathologies, right? So let's begin. We'll discuss today lung cancer. We'll discuss the pneumoconiosis, right? Then we'll discuss the short and very quick one lines about COPD, asthma, and the emphysema, right? So what all things from patho you should remember in respiratory system, we're going to talk about it. So first we'll talk about the lung cancer. So the first very important question is, which of the following lung cancer, squamous cell, adeno, and small, is most commonly seen in female? So that is adenocarcinoma. So adenocarcinoma is common in female more than male, and the other two are common in male. Okay, so the next question arises, which is having the strongest association with smoking. So here the answer will be small cell carcinoma. Small cell carcinoma has strongest association with smoking. Okay, smoking plus. Lung adenocarcinoma is most common in the non-smokers. So non-smokers mein most common is adenocarcinoma. Then this squamous cell carcinoma is seen in smokers, but the association is not as strong as in small cell carcinoma. So smokers +1. Now it is associated with P53 gene, and adeno is associated with KRAS and EGFR, whereas the small cell carcinoma is associated with LMICE. Now, here important thing to remember that the adenocarcinoma associated with KRAS is having poor prognosis, whereas with the one associated with EGFR is having good prognosis. Okay, so these are few things to remember. Then going further, if we talk about HNE, on HNE in squamous cell carcinoma, we'll see keratin pulse. If we talk about adenocarcinoma, we'll see pleomorphic cells. Whereas in squamous cell carcinoma, we'll see azopardy effect. In small cell carcinoma of lung, we'll see azopardy effect. Okay, so this is important. What is azopardy effect exactly? I'll show you and tell you within a while. So just remember, azopardy effect is seen in small cell carcinoma. Now going further and talking about the immunohistochemical markers, IHC markers. So cytokeratin is positive in squamous cell carcinoma. Next is P63 and P40. If we talk about the lung cancer, that is adenocarcinoma, it is having strong association with napsin. So napsin is positive in adenocarcinoma. And similarly in immunohistochemical markers, which is positive for small cell carcinoma, are NSE, chromogranin, and synaptophysin. Right? So this is some important lines to be remembered about all these three types of cancer, that is adenocarcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma, and small cell carcinoma. Once again, most common in female is adenocarcinoma, most common in non-smoker is adenocarcinoma, most common in smokers is small cell carcinoma. KRAS is showing poor prognosis, EGFR is showing good prognosis. On HNE, we'll see azopardy effect on a small cell carcinoma. And about immunohistochemical markers, so squamous cell carcinoma is positive for CK plus P63 and P40, whereas adenocarcinoma will show napsin, and immunohistochemical marker for small cell carcinoma are chromogranin, synaptophysin, and NSE. Now talking about this thing, that is azopardy effect. What is azopardy effect exactly? One thing we know that it is common in small cell carcinoma. It is seen in small cell carcinoma. So what happens exactly? The tumor cells in small cell carcinoma get necrosed, then they get fragile. And we know fragile things usually break, right? Mostly break. So it will break down. When it gets break down, it will release nuclear chromatin. This nuclear chromatin get lodged at the blood vessels. So nuclear chromatin get deposited on the walls of blood vessel, on blood vessel walls. Okay, so you can see here we have RBCs, right? So these are RBCs. These are the fragile tumor cells which is getting deposited on this blood vessels wall, right? So this is called as azopardy effect seen in small cell carcinoma of lung. Going further, now we'll talk about pneumoconiosis. First, we'll talk about coal workers, then we'll talk about silicosis, and we'll talk about asbestosis. Why these three? Because these three are commonly asked in our FMG exam. Now, coal workers is caused due to coal particles, right? So this is also called as anthracosis. Now, next thing is where we see the pathology in coal worker pneumoconiosis. It is usually seen in upper lobe of lung. So write it ULL. Okay. Next thing is on gross specimen. What we'll see? On gross specimen, we'll see black colored pigmentation on lung. Black pigmentation. Next is on microscopy. What we'll see? We'll see coal particles, right? Called as coal macule or nodule, right? On the microscopy. So suppose this is the particle, the lungs microscopy, and if we take this thing, so we will see black colored particles, right? And this is called as coal macular nodule. Now, another thing which is important is about the TB risk and the cancer risk. So any pneumoconiosis will have lung cancer risk. So it is present in coal workers pneumoconiosis also, but the risk of TB here is absent. Okay, the risk of TB here is absent. Now going further, now we'll talk about the second thing, that is silicosis. We'll talk about the silicosis. Now in silicosis, again, it is caused due to silica particles. Right? The pathology here also in upper lobe of lung. In gross specimen, we'll see bilateral hilar lymphadenopathy, right? And also we'll see pleural calcification. If we do an X-ray, on X-ray we can see egg-shell calcification. On X-ray we can see egg-shell calcification. On microscopy, it will show a granuloma. We'll see a granuloma. Again, the TB risk in silicosis is present, and it is the only pneumoconiosis out of these three where we'll see a TB risk. It is absent in coal workers and asbestosis pneumoconiosis, but the risk of lung cancer is present in all. Okay, in all the risk of lung cancer is present. Now we'll talk about asbestosis, which is a bit special. So here everything is occurring something different. So this is due to asbestos body. This is due to the asbestos, right? The pathology is in the lower lobe of lung. Whereas if you see the coal workers or silicosis, there are pathologies in the upper lobe, right? But here the pathology is in the lower lobe. What we'll see pleural effusion. Pleural plaque, and lung fibrosis. Pleural effusion, pleural plaque, and lung fibrosis. On microscopy, we see something different. We see something like this. This is called as asbestos body. If this body has been deposited with iron and glycoprotein, then it is called as ferruginous body. Right? So this asbestos body, I'll show you the image again. Now this asbestos body is seen in asbestosis. It is added by iron and glycoprotein, then it is called as ferruginous body. Now, one thing which I want to highlight, the risk of lung cancer is present in all of this pneumoconiosis, but it is very high. It is very high in asbestosis, right? So going further and talking about a malignant mesothelioma, only one line I want to tell you like that it is having a strong association or most specific lung cancer. It is the most specific lung cancer associated with asbestosis. Okay, and this is what an asbestos body looks like. You can see something like this. Okay, so some people tell that, suppose this is that जब अपन शाशलिक पे जाते थे in Russia, so this is that stick, okay, that is called a sheik, and on this sheik we see this kebab particles. Okay, something like this image looks like. So it is called as sheik kebab appearance. This is also called as sheik kebab appearance. Sheik kebab, I'm sorry if my spelling is wrong because I don't eat it. So sheik kebab appearance, or you can call it sheik kebab body. So this is seen in asbestosis. Okay, it is most specific lung. If there is a question which is the most specific lung cancer associated with asbestosis, the answer will be malignant mesothelioma. Malignant mesothelioma. Now there is another thing called as Kaplan syndrome. What is Kaplan syndrome? It is pneumoconiosis plus rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, so this is the updated version. Earlier it was said that it is Kohlwerker's pneumoconiosis plus rheumatoid arthritis. Now, few questions I'm going to ask you guys, and you have to comment down it in the comment section. Which is the most common joint involved in rheumatoid arthritis? Which is the joint spared in rheumatoid arthritis? I'll be waiting for the answers in the comment section. Now, going further, now we'll talk about few type of the pneumoconiosis. Bagasosis, it is caused due to sugarcane toxicity. Bagasosis is caused due to sugarcane toxicity. Bicinosis is due to cotton toxicity. I want everyone to keep on answering while watching this video with me, right? Siderosis is caused due to iron toxicity, and stenosis is caused due to tin toxicity, and berylliosis is caused due to beryllium toxicity. Now, where does this beryllium toxicity occurs in which people? It occurs in those people who are working in the nuclear industry. Okay, one more important thing, that this one-liners, people say that they not ask this one-liners nowadays, like what is the use of this, suppose most common in female and most common in non-smoker or most common in smoker. This one-liners are not asked nowadays, but you'll get a question about a lung cancer in which it is written that a woman of 78 years of age. 78 years of age. Now this woman has never smoked, non-smoker. If this is the history given, then how can you choose it's squamous cell or small cell carcinoma? The answer will be adenocarcinoma. And how do you know this? Because you have learned this one-liner that is most common in female and it is most common in non-smoker. So always this one-liner will help you in this examination, whether it is a direct link or it is an indirect link. So remember, this was the two questions: most common joint involved in rheumatoid arthritis and the joint spread in rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, now pneumoconiosis, I discussed already. Bagasosis is due to sugarcane toxicity. Bicinosis is due to cotton toxicity, siderosis due to iron, stenosis due to tin, and berylliosis due to beryllium toxicity. Now going further, very quick words about this three diseases, that is asthma, COPD, and emphysema. Asthma, you need to remember that it is a type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. It is a reversible disease. Okay, two things is this, and one more important thing, that if you do a sputum test, you will see 3 C's. Okay, in the asthma. One is Crayola body. Second is Charcot Leyden crystal. And the last is Kirschmann spiral. I don't have image of this today, but yes, it is very important to remember. Now talking about COPD, in COPD, only one thing which I want to discuss is about Reed index. These are directly the clinical hints which are given in the question. That is the only thing I'm discussing in pathology today about this thing, right? In COPD, I want to talk about Reed index, which can be a direct question, that what is Reed index? So it is actually mucin gland layer thickness by the thickness of bronchial wall. Okay, so this is known as Reed index. What is normal Reed index? Normal RI is less than 0.4. But in COPD, you'll see that this Reed index is increased. That is, it is more than 0.4. So this is, again, there can be a clinical hint that the Reed index is more than 0.4. What will be your diagnosis? It will be a COPD. In emphysema, I want to just focus that there are 2 types of emphysema which I know, which one should know. That is centriacinar, and another one is panacinar. So if there is a history, you have reached till the diagnosis of emphysema, and you're not able to get which kind of emphysema it is. Remember, in centriacinar, only peripheral. It is associated with smoking. The centriacinar is associated with smoking, and panacinar occurs due to alpha antitrypsin deficiency. Right now, again, this is a homework, that what is the function of alpha antitrypsin, and why due to deficiency of this the emphysema is occurring. Okay, so that is what I wanted to discuss today from the pathology of respiratory. A quick revision it was. I hope it was useful for everyone. All the best for the exam. Do share this video with your friends if you find this useful. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe my channel, Medi Simplified. Thank you.